Hi, I'm Abby Webb, and today we're going to talk about human movement. Using 5 exercises, we will learn how to most efficiently use our bodies during physical activity. The first exercise we're going to look at is the sumo squat. This exercise uses the glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, and calves. The quads and hamstrings are used for flexion of the knee, and the hip flexors and calves are used to push yourself from a squatting position back to a standing position. This type of squat specifically puts emphasis on the adductors, or the inner thigh, and the glutes. In order to do this exercise, you first need to stand on a flat surface with your feet about 2 shoulder widths apart and your toes pointed laterally, or outward. The wider you make your stance, the more emphasis you are placing on your inner thighs. Make sure to pull your shoulders back and keep your torso and spine straight. Next, bend your knees and lower your torso until your thighs are parallel to the ground. Make sure to keep your back straight and only bend at the knees. Pause in this position and then slowly raise yourself to your original position. Make sure your knees and toes are facing the same way throughout the whole exercise. Keeping your toes pointed forward while doing this exercise may cause you to rotate your knee and stress the joint or stretch your ligaments. The second exercise we will look at is the split squat. This exercise also uses the glutes, the quads to bend the knee, the hamstring to aid in that, and the calves to push your body back to a standing position from a squatting position. To begin this exercise, you will need a bench or low box. Stand with your back to it and lift one foot up behind you, placing the laces of your shoes on top of it. If you would like to add difficulty, you can use a barbell during this exercise. Stand tall in this position with your chest out and your bent leg at about 90 degrees. Then bend the leg that is holding your weight and lower yourself towards the ground until your front thigh is parallel to the floor. Make sure both your legs are bent at 90 degrees, then push yourself back up with your legs. Make sure not to drop your chest around your back during this exercise. Also, be sure that your legs are not in line together, like you're walking on a balance beam. This makes balance very challenging. At the same time, make sure your legs are not too far out, but keep them straight forward and backward from your hip, not rotated at the hip. Next, we will see the standing overhead press. This exercise targets the deltoids, biceps, triceps, traps, and serratus. The abs, lower back, glutes, and upper thighs are also used for stabilization. You may want to begin this exercise with a weightless bar or broom handle to practice correct technique first. After picking up the bar, grip it about 2 inches wider than your shoulders, keeping your forearms in a vertical position and your elbows in. Keep your head slightly tilted up and your legs straight, but not locked at the knees. Push the bar vertically until your arms are completely extended overhead. Make sure to extend fully with your shoulders as well to get full range of motion. Use hip movement to drive the bar upwards. Then lower the bar and return it to shoulder height. Make sure not to arch your lower back, lean back, or stick your head and neck out while doing this exercise. Keep a neutral spine. Also, keep your elbows from going behind or directly under the bar for optimal movement. Be sure not to grip the bar too wide or too narrow in order to avoid wrist pain or risk to your shoulder joints. If your heels come off the ground during movement, your stance is most likely too narrow. And if your toes come off the ground during movement, you're probably leaning too far back. Next, we will see the seated lateral pull down. This exercise uses the lats, biceps, middle back, and shoulders. To do this exercise, place a bench in front of a pull-down machine. Grab the bar with your palms facing forward and sit down on the bench. You can place your hands however close or far apart you desire. If you want some resistance to keep you from rising with the bar, you can place your legs in knee pads, provided the machine has them. Begin with both your arms extended above your head and stick your chest out slightly. Pull the bar down and slightly back as it lowers. Pause in this position and then slowly return the bar to your starting position. It may help to concentrate on squeezing your back muscles. Make sure your torso is stationary and only your arms move. Also, be sure you are pulling equally with both arms. Do not pull the bar back behind your head. This puts a heavy load on the spine rather than working the muscles. Instead, position yourself as previously described. Lastly, we will talk about the cable one-arm standing row. This exercise mainly targets the posterior deltoid. The core muscles are also used for stability. To do this exercise, face a cable pulley that is about shoulder height. Grab the stirrup cable and turn your body outward so that the cable is either to your left or right side. Make sure your palm is facing the same way you are. Step away from the machine so that your arm is fully extended and the weight attached to the cable is slightly raised. With your arm still extended, pull the cable across the front of your body until it is stopped by your trunk. Lastly, return your arm to the starting position. Make sure your body is fixed so that only your arm is moving. Focus on using your back muscles to pull the weight across your body. Those are the 5 exercises I have for you today. I hope you learned something new and that you understand human movement just a little better. Thanks.